Okay, let's take a moment here to talk about American Income Life and several questions in fact, you should ask before you decide to join the company. Number one on the list here is, how do leads work and how do they compare elsewhere? So the thing with selling insurance, guys, is this is a sales profession. And sales and insurance and any other industry all come down to how many prospects are you getting in front of on a consistently basis. You need a lot of people to talk to see in order to have the opportunity to sell a policy. The thing is that not all leads are the same. Some leads are just basically data. Nobody really actually requested the information. Some leads are qualified, people have expressed interest, that are in top of mind awareness, that maybe want to actually buy what it is that you're selling. The preference I train my agents on is to preferentially go after those leads that are in the hierarchy of buying right now versus maybe leads that are aged or resold and used to be interested months, if not years ago. So when you talk to American Income Life, ask them how their lead system works. Is it a lead system that gives you qualified prospects, qualified leads that are actually interested in life insurance, or is it something else? And then decide for yourself, is that a lead system you would really like to work? Number two on the list here is, how does compensation work? And how does it compare elsewhere? So another thing here is compensation varies by agency. And it's not always that compensation that's the highest is the best. You have to look at the price that you get paid, if you will, and compare it to the value that you get in exchange. So look at AIL's commission, but also look at another agency or two's commission and compare the commission level plus the offer of support, training, maybe lead support, etc., to come up with a more sober assessment if the AIL opportunity truly is a good fit for you. Again, there's no agency, AIL or otherwise, that is a perfect fit 100% of the time. You've got to figure out what's a perfect fit for you. And compensation plays an important role, and you want to make sure that you maximize it while also maximizing the other benefits that you get out of joining an insurance agency. Number three, why should you do business with AIL versus another agency? This is a very important question to ask. You want to put the recruiter back on their heels a little bit. Let them sell you on why you should sell for them. Maybe a little unusual here. We'll kind of describe why that's the case, but you are, in a sense, are interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. And you need to be assured of yourself that this organization you're considering joining actually is worth your time and money, an investment of time. If it's not, there's a lot of agencies out there. Keep looking, keep exploring, do your due diligence. But you also want to make sure that you read into how that person reacts, that recruiter, to your question of what it is about AIL is good and why should I do business with you versus another. If they respond in a respectful tone, that's a good sign that you're dealing with a good organization that cares about answering that question, because they know there's other options out there and they want to be able to sell their unique selling proposition and find good agents that are a good fit. A lot of the times, though, not necessarily with AIL, but with agencies in general, you get pushback in a negative way, like they're disrespected that you ask such a question, which is nonsense. And that kind of tells you in that case everything you need to know, right? Like if people are getting all huffy with asking why I should join you versus somebody else, then you got somebody with an ego problem, and that manifests in other areas as well, not just on the interview front. Now, number four on the list here is a great question to ask no matter where you are at American Income Life or otherwise, looking at agencies. This is such an important question, and very few actually ask it, but it makes all the difference, and it can save you so much heartache. You need to ask the question, can I talk to 3 successful agents directly working with you prior to joining to see how it is? So in other words, you're asking for references. Again, the thing you got to understand if you haven't picked this up already is that a lot of the business, this isn't necessarily directed towards AIL, but a lot of the insurance sales business is puffery. It's a lot of people who are high on MLM Kool-Aid drinking schemes. They just really like the flash and the recruiting, but less of the substance. And so you have to test against what people's claims are versus the reality. And my point in mentioning this with AIL or any other agency is if you can talk to actual producers, even if it's just an email, a phone call, and really vet what you've been promised or told versus what the reality is, if the willingness of the recruiter is okay with giving that information to you, that's a great sign that you're with a good organization, especially when the 3 references you get are kind of reconfirming everything that has already been said to be true. So, a couple of things here. Make sure you talk to actual agents in that organization. the sub-organization. So, for example, AAL has different regions, different management. I would want to talk to agents in that management region, not in another one. Okay, so that's very important. You want to actually vet the recruiting and training for that agent, sub-agency, not just for AAL as a whole. You need to test to see how well the recruiting and the training actually is for that organization, because people kind of do it differently in the company as a whole. And also, of course, like I said earlier, you want to test how their response is to that request. And if they're like, no, I'm not going to do that, what is there to hide, right? If I were to ask any agency owner for references and they push back and they're like they're offended, that's a simple question to ask. I ask for references when I do business with a big high ticket item. Why wouldn't you? It's good general business practice. You should do the same here too. So again, important takeaways here, and this may come as a surprise, with AIL or otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, you're interviewing them, they're interviewing you. It's both and. So don't feel like you've got to not ask any questions or potentially offend anybody. These are questions that are good questions to ask as long as it comes from the heart. These are questions you should be asking. And it will allow you to discern for yourself if what the AIL opportunity is really truly is a good fit for you. And if it isn't, ladies and gentlemen, the nice thing about this business is there's plenty of opportunity. There's tons of agencies out there. You just got to do your due diligence, and that's the other thing. Do your due diligence, do your work to see who's out there and who's a good fit. It is absolutely important. This business is fantastic, but a lot of people fail out of it. 90% plus do, simply because a lot of issues, but one of the big issues, they find the wrong agency. They were promised one thing and told something completely different. So that's something that's avoidable with a strategy like one that we talked about. So I hope this helps you in your endeavor to see if American Income Life is a good fit for you. If you'd like to see what we do in comparison, go to davidduford.com/FAQ to learn more. Thanks for watching.